Welcome to the Natural Health Show with one of New England's leading natural health care specialists, Mark Mincola. Call Mark at 781-837-4900 on 95.9 WATD. He's waiting to hear from you.
Welcome home, Natural Health Nation. Pull up a chair because we are about to get radioactive together. We appreciate your being here. In fact, it's great to have you on board. We're going to talk about your health in a natural context, per usual. Great to have you here. And you know something, we talk extensively on this broadcast almost every week at some level about inflammation. It's incredibly powerful news that 72% of all disease is the result of inflammation. Inflammation is essentially something very different than we initially thought, as I often remind you. And along with inflammation goes pain. The two seem to go hand in hand. And according to a June 29, 2011 report that was published from the Institute of Medicine, and it was extensively discussed in WebMD, more than 100 million Americans suffer from chronic pain at a cost of around $600 billion, that's with a B, dollars a year, in medical treatments and lost productivity. So that's 100 million. That's 1 out of every 3 Americans suffering from chronic pain that is correlated with inflammation. You know, the diseases stack up here as osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, heart disease, cancer, on and on and on and on and on. So all of these inflammatory conditions and diseases that we're so unfortunately familiar with are accompanied by pain and a great deal of suffering, clearly, to the extent of, again, 1 out of every 3 of us are suffering from chronic pain at a $600 billion a year cost. Amazing. Yet there's hope on the horizon here, which we're going to talk about. But most of us think in terms of the solutions being one of two. Either NSAIDs, which are non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, which produce some very serious side effects because of their salicylates or the salicylic acid. Those using NSAIDs for pain are 5.5 times more likely to suffer from side effects from the medications, 5.5, almost 6 times more likely than those who do not use NSAIDs. So in terms of using non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, or over-the-counter anti-inflammatory sort of substitutes, non-steroidal, you're increasing your risks for serious side effects from the medication itself. So you're already suffering from pain, and the last thing you need to do is compound issues by suffering side effects from the medication that you're trying to solutionize with. But unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. 103,000 hospitalizations from NSAID side effects every year in America. So again, we're not talking about disease here, or are we? We're talking about medicine. You've heard me say before that the medicine is the new disease. And I'm starting to really and truly believe that. All I have to do is watch the pharmaceutical commercials that are on television from time to time and list the incredible side effects at the end of the commercials, rapidly rifling through all these different horrible negative side effects. It's a joke. It's really pathetic. So I do indeed believe that in many cases medicine is the new disease. But anyway, the solution for our inflammatory pain, in many cases non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, nearly 6 times more likely to suffer side effects at the rate of 103,000 hospitalizations per year. Not a good solution. How about prednisone? I know many of you are commonly confronted with your physicians regarding the issue of prednisone for pain and inflammation. Side effects may include, and this is according to the Physician's Desk Reference, the PDR. Prednisone side effects may include euphoria, insomnia, mood changes, personality changes, psychotic behavior, severe depression, emotional instability, fluid retention, high blood pressure, cataracts, diabetes, increased risk of infection, fungal infections in the mouth, and that's just to mention a few. If you look at the drug overview in WebMD. It goes on for 3 pages. Excess stomach secretions, chronic trouble sleeping, increased hunger, nervousness, bleeding of the stomach or intestines, fragile skin, osteoporosis, diabetes, Cushing's syndrome. On it goes and on it goes and on it goes. So prednisone is not a great solution either. So what do we have? We have 1 out of 3 Americans suffering from pain that is chronic and dysfunctionalizing, costing $600 billion a year. $600 billion a year. We've got 100 million Americans suffering. And what are these solutions? The solutions are either aspirin, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, prednisone, all of which have profound side effects, including bleeding stomach, and on it goes. So it doesn't sound like a very rosy picture, and in many cases that is exactly what we're contending with, is the disease or conditions that have poor solutions, and there are alternative solutions, and that's what you hear me bang the drum about each and every Sunday here. This is a great study we want to talk about this evening, July 17th this year, just recently. This is in the Science News, Uncovering a Healthy Remedy for Chronic Pain. Physicians and patients who are wary of addiction to pain medication and opioids may have a healthier and more natural alternative. Duke University study reveals a derivative of DHA, of course, which, DHA is the fatty fish oil, a main ingredient of over-the-counter fish oil supplements, may soon soothe and prevent neuropathic pain caused by injuries to the sensory system. The results appear in the online version of Annals of Neurology. The research focused on a compound called NPD1, PD1. So that's NPD1, PD1, a bioactive lipid product by cells in response to external stimuli, present in human white blood cells, and first identified based on its ability to resolve abdominal and brain inflammation. Now listen closely here. These natural compounds derived from omega-3 fatty acids found in fish oil are 1,000 times more potent, 1,000 times more potent than their precursors at reducing inflammation and pain, according to Duke University medical researchers. So we're talking about a new form of anti-inflammatory, pain-relieving substance that is 1,000 times more powerful than fish oils. It's been studied at Duke. This is a brand new report just released on the 17th of July. It's a safe, natural, effective solution. And there's a special place where you can obtain it in high concentrations already. You don't have to wait for it to be developed, because green lipid muscle extracts, I just said green lipped muscle extracts. Again, mussels from the ocean produce their own form of omega-3s, and they have very high concentrated amounts of this substance that we just recently read about from Duke Research. NPD1. PD1 is available in high concentrations in green lipped muscle extract supplements, which we're going to talk about here. Hey, stay right where I'll be right back.
Hi, it's Laura from Good Health. We all want to enjoy the great summer weather, and being active this season is important for healthy quality of life. Whether you're into yoga and Zumba, or biking, walking, swimming, or gardening, mobility and comfort is essential, no matter what your age. That's why we invite you to come by our stores in Quincy and Hanover. We've got chondroitin glucosamine, Solgar 7, passion flower, and remarkable all-natural anti-inflammatory supplements. Many of our products have been clinically tested and are recommended by leading athletic trainers and physicians. Everything at Good Health is made with pure ingredients. We won't compromise on quality. We carry super clean plant and pea proteins, sports nutrition products, spa quality beauty products, holistic skincare, and cosmetics. So shop at Good Health today. Pick up your July coupon. Spend $100 in our vitamin department and save an additional $10 off our everyday low prices. Visit goodhealthnaturalfood.com for coupon details, hours, and special events. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
You know, when most people hear the word allergies, they think only of hay fever-like symptoms associated with airborne pollen, dust, and mold. But did you know that many experts estimate that between 60 and 80 million of us suffer from immune-related food allergies without even knowing it? Furthermore, food allergies often contribute to serious health problems such as autism, irritable bowel syndrome, ADD, headaches, and chronic ear infections. Now, there's an effective way to identify and eliminate both your food allergies and the troubling symptoms that they aggravate. Allotest Medical Labs at foodallergy.com offers a full complement of clinical, environmental, and food allergy testing to help you get to the root of your allergy problems. Allotest also provides you with a comprehensive rotation diet, lifestyle booklet, and a wallet card to help you live food allergy-free and stress-free. Do you wonder if you or your loved ones are among the 60 to 80 million food allergy sufferers in America? If so, log on to Allotest Medical Labs, foodallergy.com. Talk to your doctor about ordering a food allergy test from Allotest Medical Labs today. Foodallergy.com. Make sure the food you're eating isn't what's depleting you.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Food, Allotest Medical Labs, Santee Holistic Center, and Healthy Living Magazine.
Heidi ho, welcome back to you all, and hope your Sunday is smooth, healthy, happy, etc., etc., etc. And, we're talking about chronic pain because along with the fact that 72% of all disease has been associated with a hormonal chemistry in the human body that is called inflammation, which, again, we used to think of as an achy joint, a tennis elbow, and we've certainly sophisticated our awareness about inflammation much more over the recent years. And so much so that we discovered that pain and inflammation are correlative, obviously the result of these chemistries that we produce that unfortunately are resulting right now in 100 million of us. That's incredible. Suffering from chronic pain, the result of inflammation at a cost of $600 billion a year. And needless to say, a great loss of productivity and on and on and on. And the solutions provided by medicine are just not great. And this issue has become a more expansive, more part of our awareness regarding health and healing since we've had the recent discoveries about the extensiveness of inflammation, what it really means. And we've had these epiphanies and these scientific epiphanies of late that explain in detail the intensity of hormonal involvement with inflammation and chronic pain. And we certainly know that foods play a significant role, that the more peanut butter that we eat, the more egg yolks, dairy products, red meats, sugars. Isn't that the standard American diet? I think it is right there, just about, which is why 100 million of us are suffering from the end product of this inflammatory diet that we eat, which is pain and suffering. And then what do we do for it? We take NSAIDs and aspirins, and our stomachs bleed, and we have all kinds of problems and side effects that we've already pretty well documented here. And these NSAIDs are, again, hospitalizing 103,000 of us a year. That's just amazing. And again, you're almost 5.5 times more likely to suffer very serious side effects from the NSAIDs if you're looking to support your pain and suffering from inflammation from the perspective of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Forget it. As far as prednisone, again, it goes on and on. There's page after page after page. Insomnia, mood swings, personality changes, psychotic behavior, severe depression, diabetes, emotional instability, fluid retention, high blood pressure, blah, 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 blah. And again, it just sounds like these are not solutions. These are problems. And that's exactly why I say that our medications have become the new disease, because the final moments of any kind of pharmaceutical television commercial certainly reveal that there are risks you're taking, and they're not fun. These medicines have a very dark side to them. And the brighter side of things is the least talked about side of things, per usual. It's natural medicine, alternative medicine, being studied at universities like Duke University, finally finding its credence and it's getting its bearings as the real deal, in spite of the fact that the pharmaceutical industry has nothing but money to burn at shaping your mind and convincing you that the only solution is pharmaceutical. They've certainly convinced the American Medical Association of that, that's for sure. Nonetheless, the worm has turned, times have changed, and thankfully the information is now becoming more readily available that indeed university studies are finding the credence as far as the medicines being natural, effective, safe, no side effects. So when we talk about this particular issue of chronic pain, again, there's a Science News report from July 17th this summer, just recently, a few short days ago, uncovering a healthy remedy for chronic pain, and it's all about the Duke University study and discovery of a neuroprotectin. It's called a neuroprotectin compound, NPD1, PD1. It's a bioactive lipid product that's produced in cells, white blood cells. We naturally produce this stuff. Fatty fish produce this stuff. And there's some fatty fish products that actually are seafood products, marine products, that produce more of it than we do. So the idea is to supplement with things that do that. And there's nothing that produces more of this NPD1, PD1 neuroprotectin that is a powerful, powerful anti-inflammatory and anti-pain medicine. And we're talking about something that has 1,000 times. Think about that. That's a big number. 1,000 times the protective effect against pain and inflammation that fish oils do. And fish oils have fared pretty well in a lot of research and studies. Yet we've got something now that is 1,000 times more formidable, more capable at relieving pain and the suffering from pain and inflammation. So the story here is it's called green lipid muscle extract. I'll say it again, green lipid muscle extract. So everybody, of course, wants to know, where can I get it? How much do I take? And we're going to talk about all that stuff. But the idea here is that there have been extensive studies on this since 1980. I found some very old randomized clinical trials published in the Oxford Journals, Volume 101, Issue 3, page 167 through 179, if you really want to be exact about it. Studies that go back to 1980 that show the value, the anti-inflammatory, the pain-relieving value clinically of green lipid muscle extract, GREEN like the color, LIPPED, muscle extract. Now again, mussels are those little clam-like substances that swim in the ocean, and apparently, according to all the research, New Zealand has the most powerful anti-inflammatory versions of these green lipid muscle extracts, which are found around the globe, but none so more powerful than the New Zealand version. So again, the first study, 1980, randomized clinical trials published in the Oxford Journals, Volume 101, Issue 3, page 167 through 179, showing very clearly and indicating very clearly that the green lipid muscle extracts in reasonably small doses over a period of 8 weeks had a significant influence at reducing pain, inflammatory response from osteoarthritis. This particular study, the first study on green lipid muscle extract, studied its effects against osteoarthritis, and it was very, very, very effective. 1986, trials on human osteoarthritis were first. The first studies in 1980 published in the Oxford Journals were animal studies. 1986 was the first human trial regarding green lipid muscle extract on human beings with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So 1986 were the first human clinical trials. Now listen to this. Among those in this particular study with osteoarthritis, 70% showed a significant reduction in pain and inflammation with green muscle extract when given 500 milligrams twice a day for 8 weeks. That's 1,000 milligrams a day for 2 months. 70% osteoarthritic pain relief and inflammation relief. How about the rheumatoid? 76% of those who were suffering from rheumatoid arthritis in this particular study, this human trial in 1986, showed significant reduction in pain, inflammation, again with green muscle extract, green muscle lipid extract. I should say green lipid muscle extract. 2 times daily, 500 milligrams, that's 1,000 milligrams yet again for 8 weeks or 2 months. That's a pretty good number. Again, for chronic pain, inflammation, we're talking generally about 1,000 milligrams to try for 2 months or 8-week period, and give it your own trial, because you know how many side effects have been found since 1980? 0. None. Goose eggs. Nada. Not a single solitary side effect, negative side effect, not a one. So there have been many clinical trials, and most recently a 2009 study, a randomized clinical trial, University of Hong Kong. It was an animal study, an 8-week animal study, found an 80% reduction in pain and adverse effects of osteoarthritis, the human equivalent of 1,000 milligrams for 8 weeks. Same thing again, same dose. Same exact dose. So this is New Zealand green lipid muscle extract If you really want to keep score, it's called Perna Canaliculus. Perna Canaliculus. You can just call it green muscle extract, green lipid muscle extract. Okay, the brand that Good Health Natural Foods has in stock is called Food Science of Vermont. Food Science of Vermont. A very clean and efficient product. They make 1,000 milligram capsules. I believe there's 90 in the containers. So you don't need to take 2 or 3 or 4. You just need to take 1 a day. Food Science of Vermont. They call it Sea Muscle. Food Science of Vermont calls it Sea Muscle, like SEA, ocean muscle. And that is a New Zealand green lipid muscle extract. 1,000 milligrams per cap. There's 90 of them in there. So 1 container will last you 3 months. And you only need to try it for 2 months or 8 weeks to see how it goes. But again, based on these randomized clinical trials, between 1980 and 2009, 30 years of research, and consistently, I mean, you can comb over these studies and really take a good, hard look at this product. It shines repeatedly, study after study after study after study. Once again, not to beat a dead horse here, but these present medical solutions that we're accustomed to hearing about, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories and steroids like prednisone, which I have people come in my office every week without fail. Every week. I have these horrible side effects. My head is expanded and blown up and inflamed. I've gained weight. I can't lose it. My thyroid doesn't work the same way. I have severe mood and depression situations as a result of the prednisone. Emotional instability, fluid retention, high blood pressure, cataracts, diabetes, increased risk of infection, fungal infections in the mouth. It goes on and on and on. These are not pretty medicines. Furthermore, the thing that really disturbs me, not that those side effects aren't disturbing, the thing that really disturbs me is even when they do work at their best and they don't cause side effects, even when they're at their best, which is not very often, but even when they are seeking to replace your body's natural ability to protect itself. Your body then gets lazy at doing that, shuts it down, and you become dependent upon the medication. You have natural defense systems. Use them or you will lose them. And the idea that you're using these, quote, very powerful substances would appear a positive if you don't get side effects that are negative. Not so fast. Even at their best, they're replacing your natural, innate ability to heal itself, protect itself, anti-inflame itself, and pain relieve itself. Your body needs you to exercise it properly in these various fashions that we just described so that it can get better at that or good at that or remain good and effective and efficient at it. You want to be functional, not dependent upon Lilly, Pfizer, or Merck. So the green lipid muscle extract is a powerful supplement recently studied at Duke University because of the remarkable neuroprotectin that it has. Just discovered NPD1 PD1, just published on the 17th of July this month. Neuroprotectin NPD1 PD1. Now, it doesn't matter if you know that, but the bottom line of it is you know that that is a substance in the DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. When you buy your fish oil capsules, or if you have them on the counter, just check them out. Your fish oil capsules generally have 2 major omega-3s in there. One of them is EPA, the other one is DHA. So the really good stuff in fish oil that is so often written about and discussed for its healing properties, for its anti-inflammatory properties, the good stuff in fatty fish, among other things, is DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, a very powerful healing anti-inflammatory agent, natural occurring in fatty fish. You got to realize something here. This NPD1 PD1 that was just discovered, which is a shining star in the world of pain relief and anti-inflammation, just recently discovered at Duke, is a byproduct of DHA. The key here is this is 1,000 times more anti-inflammatory and pain relieving than the version found in fish oil, 1,000 times, according to Duke and Duke researchers, the authors of this study. So I said to myself, where is the most dense, powerful, natural source of this remarkable neuroprotectant NPD1, PD1? Where can we get should we wait for them to make a drug? Should we wait for them to design supplements with NPD1, PD1? Should we just kind of wait? Why? Why bother? A simple little bit of investigation will prove, indeed, that green lipid muscle extract has been found a powerful healing agent, rarely talked about, a powerful anti-inflammatory pain relieving agent, rarely talked about, rarely studied, rather rarely discussed even. It's a shining superstar in the shadows, is green lipid muscle extract. And if you read most of the studies on green lipid muscle extract, you'll find that most of those studies say, we don't know why it works so well. We don't know why it's so good at helping relieve the conditions. And by the way, the primary studies on the green lipid muscle extract, helpful with asthma, inflammatory bowel disease, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, et cetera, et cetera. And so the idea here is the anti-inflammatory effects of stabilized lipid extracts have been well documented since 2000. And they repeatedly in these studies say, we're not sure why. It works really well in study after study. We just don't know why. That loop was just buttoned up on the 17th of July because we would now tip our hats to the researchers at Duke University and say it's the NPD1, PD1. That is the reason why the green lipid muscle extract supplement benefits so many people with pain, inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. So a really remarkable connection, such as you'd only hear about here on the Natural Health Show. Hey, we got to pay some bills. Be right back. Stay right there. Hi, this is Mark Mincola. You know, over the past decade, the Natural Health Show has attracted many thousands of avid listeners. I'd like to extend an open invitation to all potential new sponsors to join our Natural Health Show family. If you own a Heart Smart lighter fare or seafood restaurant, a fitness or day spa, or if you're an allied health professional or coach, the Natural Health Show is the perfect place for you to make the direct connection with your demographic target. If you really want to zero in and aim the message of your vision directly at those who want to most know about it, join the Natural Health Show family of sponsors. I promise you'll be glad you did. For information, call Candida at 781-834-2728. That's 781-834-2728. With the burgeoning growth of the Natural Health Show, now's the perfect time to share in that growth together.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Food, Alites Medical Labs, Santee Holistic Center, and Healthy Living Magazine.
All righty, welcome back. And I just want to take a minute or two here to go over the WebMD drug and medication reports in terms of side effects. This is from WebMD. I'm just going to list some of the serious side effects of oral prednisone, which again it's astoundingly common. It's given out. I can't tell you the number of people with pain and inflammation that get prednisone. It's the first solution of so many physicians. And I'm just going to list some of the WebMD listed PDR side effects: infection, bleeding of the stomach or intestines, fragile skin osteoporosis, diabetes, Cushing's syndrome, low calcium in the blood, pseudotumors, disease of the nerves, muscle problems, increased eye pressure, cataracts, injury to the optic nerve, high blood pressure, complete stoppage of the heart. Now that would qualify, wouldn't it, as a serious side effect? Complete stoppage of the heart. I consider that a pretty serious side effect. I mean, that's something you do not want to have happen. Abnormal heart rhythms, chronic heart failure, obstruction of a blood vessel by a blood clot, obstruction of blood vessels caused by a fatal globule, vasculitis, blood clot in veins, fluid in the lungs, ulcers of the esophagus, ulcers of the stomach acid, acute inflammation of the pancreas, lupus-like syndrome, rupture of tendons, delirium, hallucination. I mean, have you had enough? This is medicine, folks. Seizures, trouble breathing, enlarged liver, abnormal liver function tests, broken bones, impaired wound healing, life-threatening allergic reaction to any allergy, Kaposi syndrome, insufficiency of the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, a rupture in the wall of the stomach or intestines, anemia, on it goes. And it just keeps going. There's like 3 pages of this. You can't make stuff like this up. So when it comes to pain, that's one of your premium options right there. And as we mentioned also, it's not a whole lot better when you talk about the idea of using NSAIDs or non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Not quite as bad, obviously, but pretty serious stuff. So, the objective here is to really consider this most recent study a major find. And again, just to go over the NSAIDs again, just real quickly. You who are taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, over-the-counter NSAIDs, because of the salicylates that they have in them, they increase your negative side effects suffering by 5.5 times, almost 6 times the risk factor for suffering side effects with NSAIDs. And the number of hospitalizations directly correlated with NSAID use every year, according to the FDA, is 103,000 Americans. 103,000 hospitalizations from the less problematic medication that's called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. So those are your options. There are the 100 million of you out there in Radioland. 100 million of you that are costing yourselves and your nation $600 billion a year with your pain, suffering. And the solutions, as we just highlighted, are not great. They're just not great. So we've got this remarkable study that was just recently uncovered. And we've always known that, again, as we mentioned earlier, inflammation is a real problem, and it's a growing problem, and it has a great deal to do with the connection that America has to make with the way it is eating the standard American diet. It is an inflammatory diet. And when you look at the entire inflammatory assembly line, the biochemical assembly line in the body that produces inflammation, that produces this pain and suffering that costs us $600 billion a year and hospitalizes us and puts so many of us through these medication side effect experiences, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's a horrible situation. It's horrible. Where is it initiated? It starts with food. It's crazy. It starts with biochemistry. It starts with food chemistry. It starts with your chemistry. It begins with too much American eating. It begins with too much red meat, dairy products, sugar. But we like it. Okay. That's fine. I respect that. You want to just continue to just eat purely because of history and habit and pure enjoyment, 110%. That'd be my guest. Make that choice. Don't expect that you're not going to suffer the side effects of inflammation and pain that's chronic and be stuck with medications that perhaps may offer you a worse fate yet. Because there's a lot of people that are going through that. There's literally hundreds of millions of people out there that are suffering this fate. It's just ridiculous. Eating poorly, and nobody's getting the message to them. That's the real crime here. Nobody is getting the message to them. Hey, by the way, your food is making you sick and your medicine's knocking you off. It's ridiculous. You have the power to make a choice that has the power to change your chemistry, that has the ability to change this entire cycling. You have the choice. And it's not just about the power of the pill. It's about the wisdom of America awakening to the reality that it's all about chemistry. It's not about just randomly being struck down with some condition that you need a drug for. That's ludicrous. It's not true. It's not how it works. You increase the risks of these inflammatory chronic pain situations because of what you're eating, producing arachidonic acid. There are 6 essential fatty acids in this whole mix of anti-inflammation, neutrality, and inflammation. And the foods that you eat that produce arachidonic acid set up the inflammatory assembly line. So it's like this. Food produces a fat. The fats are the raw materials from which these hormones are comprised. And when they're inflammatory, you're in trouble. When you overeat this stuff, that's not to say you can't have this stuff once in a while. It's not saying that at all. It's saying you can't make it your staple. Or let's put it this way. You can't make it your staple and expect something good to happen. Or be surprised when something bad does. So where we do have a positive coming into play here again, just to get back on the good foot, this study indicates that this neuroprotectin, NPD1, PD1, is 1,000 times more powerful as an anti-inflammatory than common fish oil, which again has fared exceptionally well in study after study. I mean, look at the studies on fish oil. There's great studies on fish oil. I know that of late, I've had patients come in, of course, they get the pop information from Dr. Oz, or they get the pop information from television that's always skewed, and you know why. I don't have to remind you why. Don't make me go off on that rant. Lord, please. So that skewed information. Mark, I heard that fish oils aren't that good. Who published the study? Did the pharmaceutical world have anything to do with it? Oh, that would never happen. Or how efficient was the design of the study? Oh, my God, please. I would say 2/3 of all studies are so poorly designed if you really look at them analytically. It's like the HOPE-2 study. I don't know if anybody remembered the HOPE-2 study. I was never asked so many questions in my life about anything as I was the HOPE-2 study. Hey, more people die from taking vitamins than people who don't take vitamins. You're actually increasing your risk of dying younger by taking vitamins. That was the HOPE-2 study. Look it up. Check it out. The design of the study was apologized for by the authors of the study years later. They apologized for how poorly designed it was. What they did is they took a population of senior citizens already diagnosed with 2 diseases who were taking vitamins to try to recover, to try to help themselves. Well, guess what? If you're a senior citizen with 2 diseases, don't count on vitamins to pull you through. But don't misunderstand or mistranslate or misinterpret the entendre of that study. Bad design. That's a classic bad design study. So when people say fish oils aren't that great, look at the studies. Okay, the media gets a hold of these things and they fire everything right through the assembly line, and the pipeline gets loaded with some really bad information that is just poorly designed. It happens daily. Daily. And Dr. Oz has been known to compromise his information as well, with all due respects. Nonetheless, fish oil has done perfectly well for itself in study after study. Look it up yourself. Check it out yourself. So if fish oils have done well, then this NPD1, PD1 substance, this neuroprotectin, is going to do just fine for itself as it is 1,000 times more concentrated, 1,000 times more powerful in its anti-inflammatory properties and in its pain-relieving properties, 1,000 times more powerful than fish oils. So as good as fish oils are, you're way ahead of the game here. And where is the place you can zoom in on this product and benefit from its wonderful anti-inflammatory and anti-pain properties? Green lipid muscle extract. There are many different versions. There are many different packagings. There are many different forms and companies that are manufacturing it. Green lipid muscle extract. GREEN, the color, LIPPED, lipid muscle extract. Good Health, as we pointed out a little while ago, has a Food Science of Vermont brand. Food Science of Vermont. They refer to it as C Muscle, SEA Muscle, MUSSEL. So that's Food Science of Vermont, C Muscle, 1,000 milligrams. And again, if you really kind of break down study after study, the dose equivalent in animal studies, human dose equivalent in animal studies, or in the human studies that have been effectively performed here and well designed, would indicate that we're looking at 1,000 milligrams a day for 8 weeks. That doesn't mean you stop taking it. It means you evaluate it at 8 weeks. Okay? That doesn't mean at the end of the 8 weeks, okay, I can let go of this stuff now. It means you probably want to use it for a while, depending on how your diet is. What I would propose is you plan on making an 8-week gradual shift or change in your dietary habits so that you're eating less inflammatorily. But over that 8 weeks, you take 1,000 milligrams of green lipid muscle extract from Food Science of Vermont, from Good Health Natural Foods. I know you're going to all go down there tomorrow and buy it out, so just order it if they run out of it by the time you get there. Get there early. Get there early, because there's going to be very little of it left by the time the folks get down there at Good Health Natural Foods in the morning. But they'll order it for you, but don't worry about it. Green lipid muscle extract. So again, 1,000 milligrams once a day, 8 weeks, reevaluate at that point. But during that 8-week period, please, folks, consider eating less of the following: red meat, peanuts, peanut butter, egg yolks, and dairy products in general. And yes, I do mean yogurt as well. It is a dairy product. People are always amazed. I thought yogurt was good for you. Listen, everything has something good and something not so good. Everything, including you and I. So it's really a question of articulating it in a way that makes sense for whatever your goals are. If your goals are to kind of abate the pain that is chronic that you're suffering from, and to contend with a natural approach to lessening your inflammatory problems that are causing you this pain, then yes, even yogurt wants to be cut back. So again, I'm not telling you to never eat these things at all. I'm saying that your staples should include less red meat, dairy products, peanuts, and egg yolks. On the other hand, you should consume more fatty fish and organic produce, organic veggies and fruits. Kind of commonsensical, really. Not such a shocking tidbit of information there, but what is shocking is you go to the store in the morning and you watch, the grocery store that is, and you watch folks loading up those carts. Just check out what you see. It's inflammatory, I can promise you that, because a lot of it is sugar-based. I think the safest thing they put in their carriages for the most part are the Tide. Anyway, so over that 8-week period of time, it's probably a good idea to cut that stuff out, cut back on your inflammatory foods, increase your anti-inflammatory foods, give yourself some time to graduate into a less inflammatory diet, because that is what initiates the process that's causing the pain that is chronic, that is forcing 103,000 hospitalizations a year, costing America $600 billion a year. It's crazy to me. In other words, the way we eat is costing us $600 billion a year. The way we eat is costing us 100 million chronic sufferers of pain. 100 million chronic pain sufferers from our food. That is the way it works. Most people don't have this information bestowed upon them. Nobody's educating you to be wiser. The system doesn't want that. They don't want you to be wiser. The greater wisdom you have, the greater power you have, that could be trouble. Then you know better than to buy half the crap that's out there. We can't have that. And then you'd learn that there's other medication alternatives. Oops, don't want that either. So we are constantly uninformed, obfuscated from. Information is not that readily available, because information is paid for in the world of television and radio, etc. And most of the, quote, mainstream information is is either corrupted, screened, filtered, and you know why. You get 3 guesses. Revenue, revenue, revenue. Anyway, so we have an opportunity to make a difference on our own. Again, there's some remarkable studies we pointed out as far back as 1980. Randomized clinical trials published in the Oxford Journals, Volume 101, Issue 3, page 167 through 179. First studies around osteoarthritis, animal studies. 1986, human trials on osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis found a 70% reduction in pain and inflammation. 70% for osteoarthritis, 76% with rheumatoid arthritis. Those are astounding numbers. This isn't a drug. This is the real thing. 76% reduction in pain and inflammation for rheumatoid arthritis patients with green muscle lipid extract, 1,000 milligrams a day for 8 weeks again. So as I say to you, give it an 8-week trial. Give it a run and see how you do. We got Roy on the line from Rhode Island. Welcome, Roy.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Terrific. How are you?
Not bad. Did you happen to catch the study the other day from Harvard University about coffee?
I did not.
Well, the orthodoxy is out there. Of course, we know where Harvard gets all of its money and everything, of course. And they said having 2 to 4 cups of coffee a day is very beneficial for us. When I heard that, I said they should be studying me, what 2 to 4 cups of coffee would do to me every day. I can't even do very well on one. It's good for depression. It's good for the mood, this kind of thing. Very interesting.
There's a simple way to kind of deduce and kind of understand that and analyze that, Roy. Coffee has a drug in it called caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant. Anytime you stimulate an adrenal gland, it makes people temporarily feel good. Now, the operative is temporarily, because that which goes up must what?
Come down.
Come down. There you go. They don't talk about that part of the equation.
Of course not.
So if you're a coffee user, your adrenals, for a period of time when you first start using coffee, because of the drug, the stimulant that's in there called caffeine, will elevate your nervous system, will elevate your immune system, will elevate your anti-inflammatory properties through your adrenal glands. So it's kind of a fight or flight push. So you're artificializing something in your body that can actually benefit you short term. Always concluded with what? Fatigue, a drop in all those functions, and a lessened response. So that which goes up must come down. So they study it on the upside, and then they release that response to try to sell coffee, depending on whoever paid for that study. But the bottom line of it is, you don't want to artificially induce anything in the human body. You want to bring the body within its own natural realm of balance and support it in a balanced fashion to do a good job day in and day out for a long period of time, not just for a short period of time.
That's right. And with me, what happens, even 1 cup, I develop a really bad case of anxiety. Not good.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's a drug, it's a stimulant, and again, right. People are so used to drugs being the solution that to get stimulated by a drug is, hey, that's just kind of the rule of the day, isn't it? Isn't that the way we do things?
Certainly is.
Roy, thanks so much for your call. I appreciate
Anytime.
it. All right, we're going to take a short little break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Are you one of the 20 million Americans suffering from neuropathy, shingles, or chronic nerve pain? In the last 3 years, many people have discovered excellent and affordable treatment for diabetic, post-chemotherapy, and other types of neuropathy and chronic pain. Dr. John Hayes, chiropractic physician since 1981 on Route 53 in Norwell, has had such astounding results with his unique neuropathy program that he's now teaching his remarkable system to doctors around the country. His most recent book, entitled Beating Neuropathy, remains a bestseller. In fact, Dr. John Hayes is the world's exclusive educator and trainer for Rebuilder Medical Technologies. Call Dr. Hayes' office 24/7 to schedule a free neuropathy analysis. Call 781-659-7989. That's 781-659-7989. Call now while free neuropathy analysis slots are open.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Food, Alites Medical Labs, Santee Holistic Center, and Healthy Living Magazine.
All right, welcome back. And again, we have been talking with you tonight about, I think, a really central issue to the idea of healthy living. And again, so many folks, when I read the number today, I was just flabbergasted, absolutely astounded. More than 100 million of us Americans suffering from chronic pain at a cost of $600 billion a year. That's from the Institute of Medicine, published in WebMD. Those numbers are truly, truly inflated beyond belief and beyond reason as well, I might add. So they're not going down. That's the other thing is, whenever you read negative accountings such as these numbers, you can bet that these numbers are not going to go down. What in your wildest dreams would make you imagine that the numbers are going to go down? The cost is going to go up. The number of Americans who suffer from chronic pain is going to go up as well. So we're at 100 million Americans now at a $600 billion a year cost. That number in the next 10 years is going to skyrocket. It'll double. And again, I feel like the message really is pretty simple. People need to get the message that food is a drug. I always say food is a drug. Drugs save lives. Drugs take lives. So it's all a matter of how you use your food. You know, food was designed to actually give you life, not take it away. Of course, you'd never know that nowadays. So again, our solutions have turned to the pill. We've all turned to the pill, and their solutions when it comes to the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, 5 to 6 times more likely to suffer side effects at the rate of 103,000 hospitalizations a year, according to the FDA. Not a great solution. Prednisone, come on, just read the PDR on prednisone. You know, the prednisone PDR. It's astounding to me that medicine is even used. I know so many physicians think that it's a miracle drug, but I'm not on board with that anyway. The bottom line of it is, I think that we need to think about educating the public differently from a medical perspective. Medicine needs to take up the slack, needs to finally cross over the barrier and acknowledge that food is powerful. I just saw a report today, a friend of mine sent me a report about physicians in New York City have been given the power to prescribe, this is true, prescribe fruits and vegetables for obesity. So, you know, can reality be far behind? But nonetheless, I think it's exceptionally vital that the medical establishment comes clean, crosses over that barrier, and starts to acknowledge that food is a difference maker with more fervor, and to really release more studies and more information and more enthusiasm and more education plans to really connect with the American public in ways that make a serious impact at changing the standard American diet from an inflammatory to an anti-inflammatory diet. That is, in my opinion, key. Because people aren't going to believe something unless their doctor tells them. So I think it's exceptionally important that the medical establishment gets on board with this and says, look, folks, instead of you eating crap and then coming for prednisone and getting hit with side effects, how about this? We make you believe and understand and make the connection educationally and intellectually that food is directly influential of these numbers. Food is causing this problem. It's changing your chemistry. It has drug-like biochemical effects that are causing these serious side effects. And then you go on medicines that cause even more serious side effects. And you know what? It's just, this system it stinks. So we need to get with it. So the object here is to really say, look at A, if you ate better, and B, if you took a supplement that was well studied, such as the green lipid muscle extract represents. Again, think about this. Since 1980, studied as effective against asthma, inflammatory bowel disease, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, heart disease. It's an anti-inflammatory support that is natural without any side effects. It inhibits the COX-2 and COX-5 pathways in the body, including the leukotrienes and prostaglandins, etc., etc. So at a hormonal level, where inflammation really takes root and sets its tempo, it's reversed from within the very deep recesses of your biochemistry. So it changes the problem at the source, and it enables your body to care for itself in a way that is natural, balancing, and functional without side effects. So I'm going to mention that brand name again. Food Science of Vermont, Sea Mussel, 1,000 milligrams. It's a New Zealand green lipid. We've been talking about the green lipid mussel extract, which again is representative of the NPD1, PD1 that was recently studied and uncovered by the Duke University medical researchers. In fact, anybody interested in checking out this report, go to Science Daily for June 17th, 2013. And it's in the Science News, uncovering a healthier remedy for chronic pain. And I repeat, you don't have to wait around for it to be extrapolated and formulated and turned into something new that you can take. It's already here. And I just wanted to make that connection for you. And again, this study was published in the Annals of Neurology, the online version of that. And check out that study anyway. So es muy importante, as I like to tell you, okay? Check it out. Also, we want to make sure that we tell people, get on down to the Good Health Natural Foods new version down in 1630 Hancock Street, downtown Quincy Center. Amazing place. They've done an amazing job. Also, we encourage you to check out the website foodallergy.com, because our friends at Alletess Medical Labs are there for you, and they do an amazing, amazing job at helping you identify with potential inflammatory stuff. And when I say potential inflammatory stuff, I mean literally foods that you're allergic to, foods you are intolerant to. Even think about this. Even if you're talking about an anti-inflammatory food like fatty fish. Fatty fish could be an inflammatory food for you if you're allergic to it. So whatever you're allergic to is inflammatory. That's an important point. So check out Alletess Medical Labs and their website. And let's make sure we thank Tim McKinney. Take a bow over there, Tim. Also, we want to make sure you get to my website. My website is maxhealing.com. Just one word. And it's one-stop shopping. It's got all my archives on there from television, radio stuff. So Max Healing, maxhealing.com. Check it out. Also want to thank Alletess Medical Labs, Good Health Natural Foods, Ed Perry, and of course you folks for being tried and true listeners each and every Sunday. Until next Sunday, this is Mark Mincola reminding you all, please be wise, be aware, be well. Make it a healthy week. Good night.